It's not, oh, there we go.
Welcome everyone to the Youth Commission meeting. We will call this meeting to order at 1:03 p.m. I will call roll now. So Commissioner Desmuka, sorry.
Hit the button. Yep, press the button.
Presence. Thank you. Commissioner Ravi Kumar.
Present. Use the microphone, sorry. You guys gotta use passing it around.
Present. Commissioner Sanchez.
Present.
Commissioner Babu Chakrabarti. Present. Commissioner Guerrero Fernandez. Present. Commissioner Canfield. Present. Commissioner Nguyen.
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez Munoz. Commissioner Yu. Present. Commissioner Park.
Present.
Commissioner Kujarski. Present. Okay, we have quorum. Hey. So currently we don't have a chair or vice chair, so we do need to elect a chair pro tempore. Do we have any volunteers? Great. So we have to do the election for this, if there's two.
There's two, so you will have to say kind of a little spiel of like why you wanna do the temporary chair
Yeah.
today. And then, everyone can elect.
Yes, it's sorry, it's a 1 minute speech, so you both have to, yeah.
Why you want to chair?
We want, yes.
All right, I'll time you. Going first? Okay, and go.
Hi, everyone. I'm gonna make it really brief, but if elected as chair, I think one big advantage that I have is the fact that I've been on the commission for 3 years. I've seen two different types of commissions, how they work, and I guess flaws that they have, or like, you know, things that went well within both commissions. And I think having that knowledge can definitely help me, if elected as chair, to lead all of us to make sure that when we're working on our work plan today, we don't, you know, overshoot or undershoot what our abilities are, and we make sure we have, you know, action items that we could definitely achieve by the end of the year and be very realistic about it. Additionally, I'm really big on support, so I will make sure that, you know, if you guys have any ideas, I'll be really open, and I'll make sure the rest of the commissioners are really open as well to listening to them. And yeah, that's my speech.
Hi, everyone. I'm Commissioner Kudreski. Because this is a election for pro tem, I'm just gonna talk about being the actual chair of just this meeting. I believe I should be chair because I know how to run these meetings, as well as I think I will be very good at making sure we stay on track and we are direct with our points. I think the main thing about this is being able to efficiently hold the meeting and make sure that we are going through the correct steps, as well as having everyone's voices heard. And so I think I should be chair for this.
So we'll, go ahead and do the election. If anyone wants to vote for either of them, say aye, raise your hand, and we'll count this, that way. So first, Commissioner Pradeep Kumar.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand higher, please.
Higher.
Commissioner Kucharski.
Aye.
2, 3, 4, 5.
I'll go.
All right. Do you both want to do about 30 seconds from the speech again, and then we'll go again?
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, in addition to that, I would say I'm someone who's very, I like to do things by a schedule. So in this meeting today, I'll make sure that we're very methodical in the way that we create our work plan. And I'll make sure that as Megan said earlier, that all of our priorities are mentioned. And at the same time, we make sure that we're realistic about it, as I mentioned earlier. So at the end of the day, we can come up with a work plan that we are very proud of.
Alright, so I mentioned my organization before, but I also want to talk about being able to use our knowledge as a previous commissioner to lead the discussion. So I think it's very important that while we're talking about our priorities, we know the extent of how much we can do. Which means when I'm keeping us organized, I can point out when we're getting off track and when we're on track. So I think the most important thing is keeping us on schedule, organized, and making sure you guys have your voices heard.
Right, Commissioner Pardeep Kumar. Stand by.
Or I.
My forfeit.
Yeah, okay. Okay, all right, thank you, Marion, we would just keep going and going, thank you. So,
That's for the speaking.
and just for the speaking, so Commissioner Pradeep Kumar, you are the chair pro tem for this meeting.
All right.
You want to get- Thank you, everybody.
Just make it invisible.
We do a blind ballot for the election, okay? So you don't have to worry about raising your hand, the election is all blind. Traditionally, when it comes for a chair pro temp, there's only one person usually, so, and we usually have an odd number, so there's a decision. But it'll be a blind ballot, so don't worry too much.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I just introduced, right? Okay,
So we'll move on to consent.
all right,
It's on the papers.
all right, there we go. Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I,
Any seconds?
I, Commissioner Park,
I, Commissioner Park,
move to approve the consent calendar.
move to approve the consent calendar.
Do we have any seconds?
Commissioner.
All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? The vote passes unanimously.
Very good. This is a really good practice.
Do we have any public record or correspondence?
No, we don't, we can move forward.
For open forum, do we have any members of the public who wish to comment on any agenda items?
No, we don't, we can move forward.
Moving on to discussion and action, section B. Okay, we will be working on the youth commission work plan, and I will direct this over to Megan Malloy and Emily Terada.
All right.
All right, me and Emily are gonna talk to you about the work plan workshop and how we're gonna do this. So the main thing is to remember our ground rules, we just reviewed them, from yesterday that we talked about, and a lot of the stuff we learned yesterday. You've stored in the back of your mind, and it's all time to kind of pull it forward as we consider our work plan. The goals of this is to develop concrete, specific policy priorities or issue areas that we want to work with under for the year as a work plan, and then how to achieve those priorities. I believe we have copy, I think I see somewhere in there, of our old work plan from last year for you all to review to get an idea of how it looks. We set an objective topic, and then underneath that, we have action items and priorities. We're going to do some design thinking, some collective sort of brainstorm process. It'll take about 30 minutes. We're gonna think big. And then we're gonna narrow, and then we're gonna narrow. It's very similar to what we did last year. This is very similar if you haven't participated in our budget summit. It's very similar if you guys have just done any kind of design thinking kind of workshop before. Do we have any questions before we begin?
Before we begin, we just want to follow one more part of the process is to ask for public comment.
Sorry.
Do we have any public comment?
No, we don't, just for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zen. So, the first thing we do is what? What are we looking at? So you guys all see last year's. We give you that as an outline, a template. We do not have to do the same thing as last year's. In fact, I will encourage us to not do the same thing as last year. In our discussions yesterday, we really kind of talked a little bit about the importance of San Jose's diversity, the importance of culture. And I think that's a really great place to stay. It's a very broad umbrella topic as an objective. And I think we can put a lot of things that the Youth Commission has been tapped into projects we've been doing in there. And it allows us some wiggle room, for things that pop up throughout the year. Additionally, I would like to point, I think it's, topic number 3 last year, which is around college career pathways. This year, I am going to, for the most part, I really like to have you guys pick and design what you wanna do. I wanna lean on the scale a little bit this year, and the reason is, we do have a charge as a youth commission to do a little bit of support work for a grant that the library recently received. It's a grant from, I don't know if they're a library foundation, but it's a Carnegie grant. Old dude, had a lot of money, but built a lot of libraries. East Branch Library, if you've been there, has a particularly Carnegie style. It is an East Branch Carnegie library. So through this money, the library received, some of it is going towards ESL classes, adult literacy classes. And then the other part of it is going to sort of help, education equity kind of throughout the city of San Jose, in particular around college workshops for people. We know that sometimes those who get into better colleges have college tutors, they have workshops that they pay hundreds of dollars for to learn about the best way to write your personal statement and do these things, and we wanna level the playing field as much as possible. Since the library is in charge of the education policy of the city, college and career pathways is one of those things that we oversee for the city. In this grant, more or less what is written is that the youth commission will host youth participatory action research events to engage other young people around priorities related to college workshops that would then be hosted by the library. There will be additional partners. I think it's the Northern California College Promise Coalition, something like that. It's a big acronym. Who will really design the curriculum, but the information that is gathered by young people and informed by young people in the youth commission will help inform what is in those workshops, what young people want to see, where we can host these throughout the library, and then create curriculum that can kind of live in perpetuity throughout different library branches. So this is something that would be offered around all 25 library locations in the city of San Jose. Creating some of that equity piece where you can be on the west side, you can be in Allen Rock, and you should be able to have access to these helpful workshops to learn how to get into college, to learn how to draft your personal statement, learn about extracurriculars that support, etc. for free. We'll do this through our youth priority survey, so we have to include that as part of our work plan item, and then through that youth participatory action research items. And that can be our budget summit. That's a really great place to go. We call it Budget Summit. It more or less is a summit to discuss youth priorities. And then we highlight those priorities in a letter to city council. Questions about that? Commissioner Disco. Sorry, I'm gonna control. Or 10. Yeah.
Could we see the youth priorities survey from last year and see what like youth in San Jose wanted us to focus on in this year's work plan?
Yes, you can. It is in the annual report, which is on the San Jose Youth Commission website. Additionally, you can review there. The top priority was violence and safety. I think the second one was housing. I think the third was educational equity. Think being the operative word. We have that. Additionally, if you go to sjpl.org/youth commission, scroll down, there is a button. Where you can see, where you can review the annual report. And it should be some of those early pages. You can also see some stats from the previous years. Any other questions? The annual report's just a really good review of what we were able to accomplish last year. To reiterate what Commissioner Kujareski and Commissioner Pradeep Kumar said yesterday, really having someone want to be a passionate leader around each of those sort of objectives in the work plan means that they're more likely to be successful. Commissioner Sanchez.
I think, did we base off the like list also a little bit off the paid index from last year? Cause I remember we looked at it before and then things like we talked about it yesterday, things are looking a little bit different, like what they prioritized this year.
Yeah.
So do you think it would be like looking back at it, seeing if it's gonna be their budget and stuff or other problems?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I remember being thoughtful around that. Some of the questions asked in the priority survey last year, just off the top of my head, we stick with the main things asking, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being most important, 1 being least important, how do you rate these items? Violence and safety, you know, equity and access to mental health resources, educational resources, housing, you know, poverty. I think vandalism, graffiti is one of them. And we have everybody rank those, and that's been the same for the past 3 or 4 years we've done the survey. And then we can kind of change the questions a little bit afterwards. This past year, because the survey, and if you look at the work plan, was kind of underneath the objective of exploring college and career pathways. We did focus a little bit more on that. We asked questions related to whether or not you have access to a mentor, whether or not you feel you like school, you feel prepared when you go to school, you know what you want to do when you grow up. And you have an idea of how to achieve the career you want. So we asked some questions along that. I think a perfect thing to do would be to maybe shift those questions a little bit alongside that, what is it, pain point scale? Pain index. So we could always do that. In terms of specifics around the survey, that's a really important piece to kind of think about. Who really wants to lead that work, and knowing we have to do that survey, that's just something we do, it's something city council has come to expect, and really, they love this data, they love this data. Knowing we do that survey is where does that survey fit in the objectives of our work plan? Keeping that in mind. That make sense? Did I answer your question? Any other questions? So you have that understanding.
What was the other thing we talked about? I've since forgotten.
If I remember, I'll tell you. So. For this question at hand. think back to everything that we talked about this weekend. Being index is really good. Keep that, we have to do some of this youth purchase, oh, that was the one I want to talk about, okay. And David, if you wanna chime in, you can. I'm sorry, Commissioner Wen, if you wanna chime in, you can. Emily and I had the pleasure of talking to and meeting with Melissa Liu, who helps to coordinate and run the Santa Clara County Youth Task Force. We've been in conversations with them around ways to collaborate for a couple years now. It's been kind of tricky. You remember they are the Santa Clara County Youth Task Force. They span over the entire county, which goes all the way up to Palo Alto, all the way down to Gilroy, so it's quite large. But one of the things that we thought might be really cool to do this year, since we have Commissioner Wen, who acts as kind of a very special bridge, sitting on both the Bless You, San Jose Youth Commission and the Santa Clara County Youth Task Force, this might be a really good year to find ways to collaborate. We traditionally hold our youth priorities budget summit, which I call budget summit, so that's what I mean, in the spring. Or it's been late January, early February. The timeline may need to shift a little bit this year, be a little bit closer to end of February, early March. And this is something that we encourage youth from all around San Jose to come and participate in. I know that Commissioner Wen participated in it last year, yes, yeah. But ultimately, the priorities, the things we identify, the feedback we get, and the participation we get from youth isn't just in San Jose, it can expand to Santa Clara County. And I think there's opportunity there for us to really partner and broaden our scale a little bit. And if we work together with the Santa Clara County Task Force, where it's not just the San Jose Youth Commission Budget Summit or Budget Priority Summit, but it's both of ours combined equal partner shared work. We draft a letter together that would go to both the county board of supervisors and San Jose City Council. That whatever comes out of there, we really collaborate together on. That could also be an option. We don't have to do that. I know that when the discussions with the youth task force happened, they were really focused on wanting to make sure this is something that could be done as a shared effort, not led by San Jose and the youth task force is kind of there, but truly joining combined. That means really collaborating with them, making sure we have consistent planned meetings with them, and truly kind of doing a joint effort with that work. So it's something to consider. Commissioner, when did you want to speak to any of that discussion that you had with the youth task force?
So, definitely resonate with all of that. We've had the San Jose Youth Commission in mind, because actually one of our other commissioners, Christian, was part of the citywide YAC and formerly, D8 YCC. And so it's a true honor, to collaborate. And so, yeah, that's our main concern. We definitely wanna leverage both of our, kind of like our outreach, to have a shared event and, no, I think, yeah, I think the budget summit is a great event for us to collaborate on.
Thank you. Any questions around that? And mind you, you don't have to do it. It's just something to keep in mind while we do our brain mapping. Commissioner Kucharewski, and then Commissioner Sanchez, and then Commissioner Canfield.
So I'm just wondering if you personally have any ideas on how we would host that event, seeing as having both of us combined, it would probably maybe double the numbers, maybe by 1.5 even. By doing that, we probably have to have a new venue, a new location, one that's more accessible since the county's quite big. What are your thoughts on how that would work?
That's a really great question. I do have a couple ideas in mind. There's a very big venue right across the street. we would have to see about coordinating very soon, depending on what we decide and what we collaborate. That might be very cool. It's definitely a much bigger spotlight venue. If we were to utilize some city resources like at the rotunda or the wing rooms or something like that. It would definitely be something we'd have to coordinate closely with the library administrative staff and our event services staff of the city, and making sure we could utilize that space. Additionally, there are other events, other city venues like the Mexican Heritage Plaza, which is very central, very large. There's a large auditorium, there's lots of rooms for breakout sessions, and we could really utilize that space, I've thought about. And then I've also thought about the county has been able to partner with Oak Grove High School in the past and utilizing some of their space, and as long as we're kind of strategic about how and when, that is technically with county scope, it's a little more central between Gilroy and like Santa Clara. So we could see about that as well. There, it would have to move venues and we would have to really kind of do some logistical planning around that. But it's something that Melissa, Emily, and myself have talked about and we are aware. Thank you for thinking about that. Commissioner Sanchez.
Is there a way that we like could set up an ad hoc just for like based off working as a group with them? I don't know. So just like basing something off so that we can make like a partnership one that we can just go back on every once so often. And then for also the venue, or I was also thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if my school was able to like lend us one of our buildings. Since we have a lot of breakout rooms and it's also a big auditorium, you know.
That would be super cool, and I think absolutely we could build out an ad hoc to work directly alongside that partnership. Depending upon whether or not it's something we put expressly in the work plan, or we just put, we are hosting a budget priority summit. And then maybe we have another item that's like, we will work together with other outside groups focused on youth priorities. Need something that high level. And then we can really kind of work together, do an ad hoc group, to kind of coordinate and collaborate with these task force on those things. And then if that's something you have of interest, especially access to the resources at your school, you could work, we've helped out, work quite a bit with youth services, so I'm sure we can talk to them a little bit. That's a great idea. Thank you for sharing. Commissioner Canfield.
I just have a question about what incentive is there to partner with the task force? I'm not saying this and trying to say that, because like, oh, we don't partner with them, but how would it help us reach the goals on our work plan and like, what would it do to help us with our goals and then with their goals? And instead of just causing us more work.
I think it's a great question. I have an answer, but I'm wondering if any of you have any thoughts on that.
Your question about like concerns about like writing with the work plans for the YTF, one of our main priorities is to increase youth outreach. It is through civic engagement, participation, voter drives, all these things. For us, it's not a concern. It's more so about how the San Jose can commission us on how we design our work plans to see the align with our goals.
I also think, that's a really good point, by the way, that we brought up. I think one way we can view it is as expanding our network. Since the people that know about the Santa Clara Task Force are completely different, they may not know about the Commission for San Jose. When we combine these two communities, we're basically doubling who we have influence over, especially youth. So that's probably like the main benefit of it.
Adding on to Commissioner Kuczynski's point, if we have some sort of joint event with the task force, like she mentioned, there would be, I guess, a larger audience, which means there will be more youth that we can get input from if we're, requesting budget or something like that, right? So there'd be, I guess, a greater range of youth ideas, priorities, concerns that we as, a youth commission and them as a task force can address in future years. So that's one benefit of having it.
Commissioner Park?
This is a question for Commissioner Quinn. How does the youth task force do outreach? Is it similar to how the youth commission does it?
Um. So a lot of our outreach would be, I think, in relation to the civic engagement summit that happened in Oak Grove High School. I was not in the youth task force at that time when they hosted it. But I do remember it was a lot of county outreach, so the county distributed newsletters, they do a lot of communications. And so that's one way we can leverage the county's communications, they have a very big media team. In addition to that, we did a lot of outreach to schools, a lot of our commissioners did personal outreach, like emails to their administrators or activities directors. And we also leverage social media, yeah, so we're trying to get big on our social media.
Commissioner Yu?
I also wanted to ask, since Santa Clara is so big, can we expect people from like maybe Paul to like Gilroy to be willing to make the commute here to San Jose to participate in this event? And like, if so, will we need to maybe push back the time it starts to give them ample time to get here?
So, ready, go on.
I was just gonna say, if there are gonna be people from places like Paul to Glory, that's something we need to keep in mind when we're planning where we're gonna host this event. It's not necessary that we have to keep it in San Jose or somewhere near where the task force is, I guess, working. So that's something that we can keep in mind when we're doing it. We can keep it in a more central location, that way it's equally accessible to everyone. So that's just something we can keep in mind. Sorry, Nathan.
No, that's great. These are good questions. I think these are important questions to kind of keep in mind. If this is something we include in our work plan, remember, I'm telling you all this, so you guys think about it, so store it in the back here. So when you guys are doing your brainstorming, you keep it in mind for the work plan. But details and stuff like that, you're thinking about, which is really good. That's really great to bring to planning and that ad hoc committee work that would take place in support of the work plan. We're gonna go Commissioner Guerrero and then Commissioner Nguyen.
I think it's a good idea. I think partnerships are always good. Networking with different people is also good. And I think that's location wise, the Zero Dawn station is right here. BART takes from Palo Alto to all over the Bay Area. So I think we may be thinking a little bit too ahead of ourselves because it's not an official thought yet. So I think the details will come later and like the planning, the location, all that will come later. I think the idea itself, networking with other counties and networking with like someone that has a bigger audience than us, is always a good idea. Meeting new people and outreaching to new people, it's never a bad idea.
I'd like to add that the youth task force has connections to many youth commissions. We have some commissioners who are part of the Milpitas Youth Commission, was a part of the City of Santa Clara Youth Commission, and also has ties with the Mountain View Youth Advisory Committee.
Commissioner Kucharewski.
Okay, so this is kind of a transition, but since we're talking about ad hocs more on a theoretical scale, previously, the budget summit has been under the college and career pathways ad hoc, which is basically just focused on education. Since under the library, we have access to education resources, library resources, that's kind of how it worked in the past. If we want to continue in education ad hoc, which would be beneficial, and we also want to have the budget summit as part of that, what are your guys' thoughts on having the ad hoc, like Edwin said, that's working with the youth task force, being the education and college career pathway ad hoc? Basically saying, okay, well, where are we gonna put the county work, the budget summit work, and then putting it under that ad hoc again? What are your thoughts on that? Because it's all up to you.
Would it be possible to create a separate ad hoc for that as well, if that's been done before?
So, yes, I think all of this is possible. I'm gonna cut this discussion. These are good questions. These are questions that are a step ahead of this. So you guys are like going for it, and I love it. But we're gonna back up a little bit. What I wanted to do was plant those seeds, and now we're gonna water it with this big brainstorm. And then we're going to pull all these ideas out, see where things kind of live, see where we see our priorities lining up. And then from there, we can refine again, with these questions in mind, with this discussion in mind. And then from there, we can refine again and we can pull out some specific objectives, specific action items. Does this make sense? Okay, so we're passing out, we have, what are those things, markers, pens, everyone's gonna get stickies. So think back to what I just said, think back to what we did this weekend, what inspired you. Think back why you want to do this work on the youth commission, what you've heard from your friends, what you see in your schools, what you see in your communities, what's important to young people in the city of San Jose, what should we focus on this year? What is realistic for us to achieve in 6 months' time? We have a couple of past policies, we have the annual report that you guys can review. One idea, one sticky note, and it can be something that's just like housing, boom. You know, college classes, you can get very granular about what you want to do, it can be detailed. Every idea that kind of pops into your head, you're like, oh, my friend needs, my friend is really like stressed, mental health, boom, like it could be that. You guys are gonna come, I'll pull up another big sticky. We're gonna populate these 2 big stickies that I'll put up here. Emily's gonna take care of that because she's best. And then we're gonna take 15, 20 minutes, do all of that. And then we'll get together and we'll begin to kind of sort and see where the big ideas are kind of coming out. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna give you guys 15 minutes. Start writing your stickies and come up and put them on the Post-its, and then we'll sort them out. Sounds good? Good, and then we'll vote on what we like. Cool, all right, thank you.
Is there different pens and sorts? This one's the cap.
Yes, tacos on combo, this is one of my favorites. Like, I hope you guys like very almost do that. Oh, good, I can see this. Right.
Oh.
We could do it for yeah, but I'm gonna put it up anyway. Like I usually have myself in like my groceries for buying those for clowns. So it's like there's like real prices. They could have been obviously too long, you know, but it's a good. So like you're right. Yeah. Well, not everyone's qualified, like I go for it. Yeah, there's a lot of people not that, sort of like this. I have one right here. My son like gave them out, that's how also. And I literally just carry one with me. That's what my special did them out. I like anybody. Want them to like that and then. Which one's yeah, they're fine. And they made something. Do you know? Okay, that's like no. I said that's like. That's like a lot. Like, and like, I think like 200 left, like, you have to like call them that, yes. Maybe they can. Yeah. Yeah, we're supposed to. That's what you want right now. Yeah. They're like, there's Boston, they're in the city. I can see.
Those are you two. That's not bad. Cause I look at this, you oh, very, you know, party.
Yeah, I stay like in the meetings.
I'm here to great self.
I think this is fun.
So I guess that's why. Yeah.
So, we do have a couple, I mean, our 15 minutes is up, but I wanna give you guys a little bit more time.
When do we finish like, making the ad like stable ad hocs? Like,
So when do we finish making the ads?
yeah.
Probably September. But they're ad hoc. So there are things that we can create more or less on the fly as we need them. Why can I hear myself? Is that? Sorry. Is there any last things we wanna add to our brainstorm?
If we think of one later, well, not like tomorrow, but maybe in a little bit, we can't think of it.
Yeah, so I am gonna have, yes, yeah, there will be, you'll kind of see, we're gonna narrow down a little bit more. So you'll kind of see what we'll do next. Chair Pro Tem Pradeep Kumar. If you would like to go and read out the topics and what we have, I'm going to recommend that everybody kind of stand up. You'll notice there are 3 green dots in front of you. This is where we vote, so I'm gonna have, Nehal read these off, and then we are going to, what more specifically, this is the next step. You're gonna vote. You get 3 dots, 1 dot is 1 vote. You can select your top 3 categories. You can put all 3 dots on environment, if you're like, no, I really wanna save the butterflies this year. This is where I know the youth of San Jose care the most, this is what we should be working on. You can do that. You can put 2 on 1, 1 on 1, you can spread them out. From there, we will break it up and we will refine the policies around specific groups, okay? And where we can make an impact, and then we'll vote again. Yes,
Do we put the dots next to the post-its or next to the?
next to the theme, because then we're going to take each of those themes and we're going to kind of explode those out. Does that make sense? So that's why if you have any other ideas, you can add them, but they will probably be with our top 3 themes or ideas. I'm gonna let Nehal lead, and she's going to read out our themes, maybe highlight a couple ideas in each of those themes, so you kind of get an idea of what it means, and then you all can vote.
Okay, so, Commissioner Kuczynski and I, we separated all of your post-it notes into specific categories like Megan mentioned: education, mental health, violence and safety, housing, events that might be, collaborating with the Santa Clara Youth Task Force, community and belonging, which includes culture, immigration, arts, or anything like that, civic engagement, and environment. So starting off with education, a couple of post-it notes that I guess shown out to me were college and career access, college info sessions that covered financial aid, disability accommodations, and I guess transferring. School supply giveaways, youth entrepreneurship and innovation, and I guess how Youth Commission can help out with ESL in the library. When it came to violence and safety, a lot of you guys talked about more security at school events. I guess awareness of using, phrases like see something, say something outside of school, so campaigning regarding that. And just the general theme of violence and safety, I think that's something that you guys found important. For mental health, a lot of you talked about emotional development resources for youth, mental health resources, especially in schools or in public places like the library. And for events that had to do with the Santa Clara Youth Task Force, I think a lot of you guys were really interested in the partnership with them, whether it be a budget summit or some other event, and having an ad hoc dedicated to that. For community and belonging, a lot of you guys really liked this central theme. A lot of you talked about cultural preservation and empowerment, especially when it comes to youth, immigration and underprivileged rights for recreational activities, resources, college resources, things like that. Participating as a commission in more cultural events, especially for outreach, immigration resources, and I think another thing that stood out to me was increase of awareness of public transport in San Jose, especially for youth, and community bonding through the arts. Moving on to the environment, a lot of things were mentioned, such as the beach cleanup, public beautification, lake cleanups, and I guess having an ad hoc for the environment, but I guess building on the foundation that was created last year. Regarding civic engagement, I think building off the discussion we had yesterday, you guys were interested in having that masterclass as some sort of long-term project that the Youth Commission takes on, and how we can really study the budget that's talked about in San Jose and the role that youth play when it comes to that. So those are a couple of highlights of the themes that we had, and I think as Megan mentioned, you have the 3 stickers you can use to vote on each theme. Oh, for housing, we had two, sorry about that. For housing, we had two of these sticky notes. I think they talked about homelessness and community service, especially reducing stigma among youth, especially that are homeless, and I guess poverty, housing in general. Everyone put their stickers. Good.
Yes.
Okay, the themes or priority, like, I guess that got the most votes so far are community and belonging with 10 votes, education coming in second with 8, and violence and safety. So right now, we're gonna kind of split into like breakout groups to, I guess, explore more regarding that, and maybe we'll talk more.
Very close. We're going to now do more ideas, but around these central topics. If we can write community and belonging, education, and then violence and safety on those 3 post-its. And so what we're gonna do, you guys can just write directly on it. You can use post-its if that's how you think. And we are going to add and fill up each of those post-its around those 3 specific topics. They can be solutions, they can be partnerships, they can be ideas, they can be things you've read in the annual report, they can be things you've experienced, things your friends and family have experienced. You can pull ideas directly from the post-its that you guys did the initial brainstorm from and vote. You can even pull those off and move those over. And we're gonna focus on these 3 things. Yes,
Do we have like a discussion or no?
yeah, we can have a discussion. You guys wanna discuss these first before we go? Because after we do that, then we will have a little bit more discussion. And then generally what we do from there is we go into breakout groups. So everyone will gather around a topic and we will begin to kind of build an objective around that particular topic and then action steps to achieve that objective through our work plan in that particular topic. That's kind of the next steps, but this way we kind of like flush these out. So we have ideas and starting places and partnerships and like a nice foundation to do that. Is there anything anybody wants to add? Jump in, Commissioner Nguyen.
I just have a comment. I feel like community belonging and violence and safety, I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but they kind of go hand in hand, so I feel like we could be able to consolidate that.
I feel like community belonging, I feel like it's in a way a little bit broad, I think, I'm not sure, I think a lot of the posts that I saw were around immigration, around supporting undocumented youth and the immigrant families. And as well, I do also agree that that kind of goes hand in hand with violence and safety.
So do you guys wanna combine those 2 or do you wanna break up community and belonging?
I think about.
Sorry.
I'd say violence and safety is also kind of broad. And, what I was thinking is we kind of narrow down on both instead of combining, the two.
So that's exactly what this portion of our design thinking is for. How can we narrow these down? What specifically? We will continue to regroup inside of each of these, because education, granted, we had college in there, and then we had ESL classes, different things. You know, kind of same with community and belonging, there's things around San Jose being a welcoming city and supporting immigrant youth and things like that, and then there's, you know, painting murals and beautifying, you know, parks and stuff like that. Very different, but it's this huge topic area. So by doing this, it allows us to break it down a little bit more.
I propose, as Megan said, let's just start maybe exploring the individual categories, maybe defining what our scope of community and belonging is, and then just working on violence and safety on its own. And if we see overlap, maybe towards the end, once we, you know, explore both of them, we can think about combining it as its own priority. Does that sound good?
Yeah, there will probably be overlap, and that's okay. Commissioner Canfield, do you have anybody else? Commissioner you?
I also wanna say, like, while we're narrowing these scopes down, we also have to think about like what youth commission is capable of doing. Because like, we, like, for violence and safety, we can't just like tell city council to like put more police officers in schools. So to think about like what specifically we wanna target and what specifically we can do to target that.
Yeah, school is not part of the San Jose City Council jurisdiction. While we collaborate with schools, the library helps to specifically expanded learning. Elizabeth yesterday, they help to work alongside what's called the School City Collaborative, which is council members and superintendents working collaboratively together, sharing information. It's not like city council can be like, hey, all schools must do this. It's not how it works. Then you really have to go through the school board. So while we can do things in support of or promoting resources, we can't do anything that directly in schools. That aligns.
I think it's also important, I think we were just talking about it earlier with the school boards, to keep in mind that there are some school boards that are not in the perfect place right now and maybe struggling a little bit, so they might not be in the best place to ask for demands, or may not be taking any demands at the moment. So although, especially because of that, the district is in East San Jose, it's very hard to navigate that, but just something to keep in mind, how some school boards may be kind of busy or doing other things.
Exactly, thank you. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys do it however you want. You can write directly on there, you can add more post-its, you can pull post-its over from the other big stickies on there, but we're gonna do another 15-20 minutes of really expanding these very broad, vast topic areas out and exploring what specifically within them we want to focus on. Sound good? Good. There's some guiding questions. Think about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You can SWOT the policy. And think about where youth commission can make an impact in this. These are really good ways to think about what's feasible.
Another thing you guys can think about when you're exploring these individual subtopics is if the youth commission were to take on a specific initiative, how tangible it would be by the end of the year to have that completed. So I guess that's something to keep in mind when you guys are thinking about it.
I'm gonna break it down each of where it was specific, these are broad topics, so. And that's part of it, right? It's like, do we keep it broad and allow for some of that, or do we really narrow down what this is? And change the objective.
Just to reiterate, this part is really focused on, I guess, describing the scope, like we meant, like Commissioner Wynn mentioned earlier about, for example, community and belonging versus violence and safety. So this is another part of reorganizing the different sticky notes that we talked about earlier and what we really want to focus on within each subtopic.
Looking about education foundation. Oh, no. Thank you. Yeah, I know.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you. It's my pride and joy.
It really is fun. Do you have like background like digital design? Like,
No, my undergrad is in art photography, but they didn't teach. It's all Canva.
yes.
Yep, that's me. That's good.
Like I could.
I don't think you can recognize.
Yeah, that's your phone.
That's me.
Or is it not you?
Actually, Megan took that picture of me.
You sure it's you? You sure it's you?
Yeah, that's me.
I don't know, the hair's different.
Are you sure?
That's,
Yeah, the hair is different.
Is that when you had so much hair?
we don't talk about that.
Oh, is that the background? Isn't that, that's one of my favorite pictures.
We don't talk about my long hair.
That picture even made it into the handbook too.
That
That's
did,
crazy. Wait.
yeah, you get commission, that's so tough. That's
It
so
really
good.
is. It's a really cool picture. It's like these watching.
It's like anything that doesn't have my direct face in it is so special.
Oh, I see the photo.
Yeah, and then,
And then this is the congressman. Tall guy in the center.
but,
This is Congressman Panetta. He came to the District 10 PAC meeting. Yeah.
Why are you separated from?
that's the,
Oh, yes.
I run that. What do you mean, what do you mean, why am I separated? I let people do their own thing.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's my dad.
Why?
Everything is related.
Like now.
And then we had one of the, you can see,
5 or 6.
we had one of the
I've heard ask them to do it.
people that were going for council member. In that,
Oh.
forgot,
Like, bring a special elections.
yeah, no, during the election.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot what his name was.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, my. He's the
When's the next like election?
Like I said.
This November?
Wait, it might be 2026.
Yeah, so I was thinking.
Special elections, I didn't share.
You have a question?
Well, yeah, you just,
There's some on the, I presume we can have some. There's some on the.
He
no,
went-
because 2024 just ran.
There's a really quick.
Yeah.
I was literally just.
Oh, shit.
No, it's 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because every
So the way-
election is 2026.
oh, you can see the height
The next is 2027.
Yeah, yeah, so this
You
was
see the
all
height
like.
difference? See how bad it was?
I think I should have guessed. But others. Wait, the height well. It looks like it's this one right here.
And how tall is?
But you can find this. You gotta skip for your shit, so they're messing with you here like that. Like,
Oh, I know, yeah, they could have put me like anywhere in here. No.
no, it'll be like, they put everything,
I-
so small, even numbers and stuff,
Yeah.
like property
Oh,
tax.
okay.
Okay,
Actually, all the computers the same letters. 180.
okay, here. And then they have like 5'6" too, right? Actually, everyone's still is tall.
Well, no, they're just like finished.
How tall are you?
5'5". Oh, we can round you up 5'6".
I'm 5'6" only.
Should have just moved like.
They should have taken me out.
Yeah.
No, you should have lied on the floor so that like.
You'll never know.
Yeah.
I know this water picture is good. Very happy.
This will always take me out.
Yeah.
That's up for like a good 3 months. Oh, so happy. They're also. The outreach. Look. So
Again, like, yeah, well, there's no reason for doing that, especially. And like us, like. River.
Not happy. You're never happy.
Yeah.
You don't seem happy. You're not happy. You're not happy. Why are you not?
She's smiling. She's smiling. I was doing. This is a nice smile. This is a nice photo. Wait, look, smile right here. That was the NSC meeting.
Are you sure you're smiling?
Yes. Well, I'm wearing the same thing. Right here.
I know.
They're saying it hurts. You're in that is your voice.
Coach, but like this one.
Wait, no, I did this. Fine.
Now, what did we do? Like, oh, what page is that on?
Are you happy?
Page 29. I was happy, but I was very.
Are you happy?
Wait, this is funny. Everyone.
Everyone is so. Wait, I was just. Happy.
Let's end out.
I didn't actually want to play.
Yeah.
I mean, your hair is so fun.
Wait, what was this?
This was the joint meeting with Dennis. That's why.
Look, this is why we don't talk about the long hair.
Oh.
What?
I don't know.
Whoa.
I'm doing that. That was like.
I was missed out.
Good?
Yeah.
Tired?
It's really so tired.
Yeah.
I got to take down my signal happy.
I've already seen it. One of the Mia was on it. That makes sense. That's okay. We have a career.
I think they would.
Maybe not. No, it's better.
That makes sense.
It was. It makes you good. It's good. Because that's why she got it.
Wait, after she said, like, that makes sense.
That's just you're good. So. I just put my.
Energy.
And yeah, like dedication on that. Wait, what for you?
What happened to
The
this?
most people ever apply that you know.
That was so crazy.
I think.
You were here by a year ago, you were happy,
I'm so happy.
but you were.
Art. What was going on? Mental health section.
Everyone everyone needs to reflect on
This is.
their habits.
Yeah, but I don't see. Wait, no, it's the. That was like the budget summit. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. She just makes the budget. She was.
See, now that looks better.
Yeah.
It's not good, but better.
Yes.
That's me.
Wait.
My shade's so different.
Yeah, it's on. It's on. Yeah, are you?
Wait.
Wait.
I'm going your face.
No.
Just like.
I don't know who she is. She's on my yak.
I think I.
But.
Well, maybe you should, well, I think you should.
We're forcing far from my school. I think this person, this person, this person, this person. Get the all I feel like this. It's I mean. Oh, that's one big thing. I'm sorry. Wait, which one's council member?
Wait,
Who's council member?
Who has the work plan from last year?
No. I'm so young. Like that. Yeah. I think she does really young. Yes. I think we get the youngest ever. She really wasn't advocating for.
And even she's the youngest council member right now, but I don't see the youngest. This is the. It looks like this one's great. She's 27. Switch out to that's something I can't stop.
I'm gonna say. What?
It's kind of funny. It looks like it's a screenshot.
That's me. It is a screenshot.
This was actually taken.
That one was, Megan was sitting right behind me, that, you know what?
Your phone's in the screen and it's still holding.
Where? Oh, yeah, because I was reading a script. I was reading a script.
Oh, which script?
It was the intern, council member from Manhattan.
Intermittent appointment.
So I was there. Bro, I got out of school early. I had to leave at 2:30.
Do you know what?
You're gone now.
We don't know. Council member has in, so elect a new member, and so that's what he was at.
Just search it up.
Yeah, it's not.
Wait,
that's my birthday, I remember watching the news, we were like, oh. Yeah. It's
On your birthday, you're watching it, it's like, oh.
I think he did. Is your birthday tomorrow? It's my birthday. Okay, what is it? But we have, so that means I have to go back to my meeting. Yeah, it's the same. That's why I don't wanna go. What did you do at that meeting?
Huh? I spoke about like what type of council we would want. So instead of just like somebody that's just there, or like. And, it was like this.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what's crazy? They had this one other dude. He brought in like 20 people to vouch for him. Yeah, to vouch for him, and they still voted for him.
Wait, no, are you, he was like a businessman or something, the guy who ended up being interested,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the other one was
To speak now, so we're going to move into the next section where we're gonna do some breakout groups, so please listen up.
All right, so after looking at the way you guys categorize all of your sticky notes into these categories, I think the most effective way we can go about creating our work plan for this year is focusing it on these overarching ideas will state. So first, what I think you guys really found important was, I guess, culture and the different cultures that, you know, a lot of our youth come from, especially in San Jose. So culture, placemaking, arts, things like that. So how can we as a youth commission uplift
those, I guess, diverse backgrounds and cultures that youth in San Jose come from. I think that's a very good, I guess, place we can start for our first priority. Second, a lot of you really, I guess, are passionate about immigration, and I guess it also ties to the diverse backgrounds of San Jose, but I think we can have another group talking about immigration services and how as a youth commission, we can help promote those, okay? And finally, I think that also ties into safety, and this is where I said we can connect community and belonging and safety. So that second group I talked about can focus mainly on immigration, safety, and how that's very pertinent to youth. And finally, our third group can focus on education when it comes to education resources, college fairs, resources that we have available at the library. So that's what I'm thinking when it comes to ways that we can go about doing the work plan. And those are the three groups that I think it'll be easy for us to have tangible outcomes by the end of this year. So if you look at the work plan that's, I'm pretty sure on your tables,
We took this file,
Yeah.
sorry.
this is a very good starting point, especially if you're in the educational group. You can look at this and as you can tell, it states the topic and it has two specific action items per each topic. And this is how we kind of want to structure each, I guess, priority we're gonna talk about as a commission. So I very broadly described how I think this is the best way to move forward. Do you guys have any questions? Commissioner Kudrowski? So after this, we're breaking out into research groups. Yes, we are. Any questions? Do you guys want me to, sorry, Commissioner Canfield?
What if we want to, put in our perspective on multiple of the groups? Like if we have ideas for community belonging, but we also have ideas for education. Do we have to pick one or can we move around?
I mean, couldn't we,
Commissioner Sanchez?
wouldn't we have discussion at the end for like all of the other ones, so we could just end up going to our groups, and then at the end, we'll just ask if anybody has any other ideas.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Thank you for pointing that out, Commissioner Sanchez. So we will break out into subcommittee research groups, but when we discuss at the end what we ultimately want to adopt, change, shift, it'll all be part of the discussion, so that is a perfect time to add anything in. That being said, if you guys are in your individual research groups, you overhear something or you like, hey, I have an idea about this, you can go over, make sure to share it with the group to see how they can include it. And then that can be part of the discussion at the end too. I don't think there's a problem in us collaborating like that, but you definitely also really want to focus on connecting and sharing with your group. Before anything else, I just want to make sure, how do we all feel about these three themes to start with?
Commissioner Park?
Yeah, I have an objection kind of, I should say, for violence and safety. Although the immigration one, I think that's also important, but from my perspective, my school and the people in my YAC as well, I think we agree that violence in schools and school events is also a big priority in the youth. And there were some violent events at school events the past couple years. And I think a lot of people are worried about that, and I was wondering if we could keep that in the conversation as well.
Mr.
So Kyle, you can definitely keep working on that while you're in research with that group. But I think one thing to keep in mind is how you phrase it on the work plan, if you end up putting on there. Cause I think with that kind of thing, it'd be more of a collaborate with, same as a youth empowerment alliance. Or collaborate with this thing to help, because the commission definitely doesn't have, direct access to helping them with that. But there are plenty of CMSA groups that do, so try looking into that for research.
I think that was right on, Commissioner Kudrowski.
Additionally, one of the things I would like to say, and this is what I was talking to Neha about, is that we opted to err on these three things as they received the most sort of post-its and things that really kind of grouped and aligned together. But, and we want to be careful, But you could always do something, whereas depending on how you phrase that objective and the action items you put in it, you can cover a lot of ground with that. So if violence and safety at school events, community events is part of that, you know, if you were doing something around community building and placemaking and safe spaces for youth, that could connect a little bit, you kind of see what I'm saying? So it's about being very strategic in the way we write these things. We write these actionable items and these objectives that allow us to really kind of address a myriad of concerns and issues that I know that youth and the commission have.
Any other questions regarding what we spoke? I think what I'll do is I kind of just talk through it, but I'll maybe write down the ways that I think we should be split up when it comes to our research groups so that you guys have a good starting point when it comes to that.
Additionally, these are gonna be the things that we would break out, report back and work. So if you see each one of those objective items in the annual report, those are the things we will report back on. Meaning we should do activities that support each of those objectives. Think about what is achievable in our timeline, 6 months. I'm gonna say 6 months, that we can do in support of those objectives. And then really think about who is going to lead that work. That's a really big thing, and that's where I think we kind of fell off a little bit last year, is that there was no real leader in that work. So if we have nobody who's super passionate about really leading that work behind it and supporting that, maybe that's not a thing we focus on this year. And we just focus on 2 things that have, you know, 1 or 2 people really passionate about it and really wanting to work towards it. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so next we're gonna break into groups. Yeah, I'll let you kind of circle up what we put Post-its on 3 tables. And so you guys will go into that group. We wanna make sure well, actually, what groups do you guys wanna be on? Now, do you wanna?
Go in. Yeah, distribute.
I mean, to me, it's really helpful to know what groups people wanna be on. That's immediately telling about where the priorities are.
All right, yeah, just go individually.
Yeah, just go.
The first one,
Placemaking, art, sculpture.
yeah, sure.
So like you do that placemaking, art, sculpture, you do diversity, immigration, welcoming city, and then you do education, college, career. That helps.
Oh, okay.
I think it's pretty equal split. Yeah. What I see, yeah. All right, so. Let's start with that, yeah.
Okay, guys, this is how I think we should split it. Over here, let's have group 1, which is culture, arts, and I guess the diverse backgrounds of youth in San Jose. So the first group that I talked about, so I wrote down David, Marion, Fiona, and Kyle for this group here. Yeah, Commissioner Campbell?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, group two over here, which is more about immigration and that side of the community and belonging, I wrote down Ruby and Akshava, Commissioner Yu and Chakravarti. And then the third group over here, when it comes to education, I think so far I have Dolly, Edwin, and Anushka. I will.
So this is where we do research, we refine, and we basically want to write something that looks like what those other, that old work plan kind of like objective. And then action items would be, so. Yeah, sorry, I'll be quiet, you go now.
I would just say, make sure you have a copy of your work plan, because that's a really good place to start when it comes to planning what you guys are gonna do in each group.
There is also a copy on the website, there's a but,
Oh, yeah.
and there is in the annual report. How much time do we think we need for this? 30 minutes, 45 minutes? We're gonna go 30. I believe in you all.
How does that?
Okay, what we're gonna do now is each group is gonna come up, individually and talk about what they discussed as a group, what they researched when it came to their specific topic. So I think let's start off with the very first group, which was talking about culture in general. So Marion's group, that was it not? All right, let's start with them.
So guys, you're gonna have to hold it, cause, oh, here, you wrote it upside down. We're waiting for Tion. Do we wanna let someone else go first? Go first.
Education.
Alright.
So you guys can maybe state, restate what you guys were looking at when you're researching and then the specific things you guys discussed, okay? Yeah.
Okay, so we're in education and one of our, issues, I'll let Edwin.
Alright, so some of our issues that we saw that we don't have a lot of college and career programs before people go into college. And another thing we have is we're trying to get more exposure to college and careers before people actually go off to their after high school careers. And yeah.
Oh, yes, college careers.
Yeah, we're just trying to get more workshops for financial or for the fairs for college.
Okay, so a little bit about the statistics about like how this affects students in San Jose is that the issue is that Black and brown students in East San Jose have systematically for years been at a disadvantage compared to other students in other districts. So a couple of examples include that students in East San Jose have a low A through G completion and academic proficiency. So 84% of Latinx students in East San Jose are not proficient in math. 76% of students enter middle school and high school behind in English, language arts, math, and science. And then Latino and Black students are suspended at significantly higher rates. 31% were Latino and 25% were Black. And this is because a lot of issues due to redlining, like we know the school to prison pipeline, which is a big issue, and a bunch of other things that affect Black students' well-being. But some of the actions that we thought of, this is basically the same that we saw on the paper from last year. But one of the things was that we want to take a different approach, and an approach that we think is going to provide more faster and more like real solutions in the 6 months. So what we want to do is that we have a big emphasis on building community partnerships. So what we know is that there's already nonprofits and organizations that are already doing the same work we want to do. So I think it'd be better to partner with them, see what they're doing, and see what we can learn from them. And a big example of those community partnerships are two that we found. One is the Silicon Valley Education Foundation, which is a nonprofit that provides math programs for students in like San Jose District, so like Adam Ron District, and I believe a couple other schools as well. But they provide free like math programs, free science programs, free like coding like hackathons for students. And what they do is really cool. They understand that students from East San Jose always have been at a disadvantage, so they're trying to change that. And another cool one is the East Side Education Initiative, which is an initiative to also, provide like equal funding for all schools. So I think what they're doing is a really cool like organization. And there's this thing also called the San Jose Promise, which is something that the East Side Union High School District has, which is basically a program that, like, as long as a student has a 2.0 GPA, they're able to go to SGSU for like automatically. So it like bridges that gap and students are able to go to college. So we want to know one of two things. We think either one, we can like see if we can expand it to other schools, or two, expand it to other districts. So this is for the East Side Union High School District. So maybe like we could check out Unified like San Jose District. We think that's a really good program. And then we also think it's really important mentorship. We think mentorship is really important. Representation matters, and having the students meeting with someone, I know like for East Side Union High School Districts, they have like one counselor for a big ratio of students. So they're not able to put their time along to students. So yeah, we really believe that, we want to increase access to college and career programs, just how last year that was one of the goals. But we're just taking a different route to that we think Like one of our goals, for example, could be like, oh, by 2026, we want to have every single East Sardinia High School district, which is only like less than 10, have like one career fair, like every semester. So something realistic to that we can talk to principals and stuff. And then she can talk a little bit about the ESL classes that we're also interested in.
Okay, so what we also wanna do in education is work with SJPL and support their ESL classes and programs they have at the library. And along with that, support and promote other library amenities that have recently started. SJPL has recently been working to create a library for everyone to use as well. So bringing awareness to that and the different programs they offer for students.
Any questions?
That's it.
What do we think of these topics?
Commissioner Campbell?
I think that a lot of those sound really cool to me, we could definitely explore it. I just wanted to mention or talk about that, a lot of English second language classes already exist, which is not to say that we can't make more, but a big priority would be to raise awareness that they exist and to make sure that, you know, people know that people and that youth want to go to them.
No, I agree with that, because I feel like you can have like so many organizations, but if no one knows about it, then like what's the point, you know? So I feel like outreach, we can totally do that as well, so like building off what's already there, because we can like make like 100 ESL classes, but if no one knows about them, like what's really the point, so I think that's really great, yeah, thank you.
What was the first topic again? What was one of the first things you guys kind of talked about, the first action items around college and career? It was almost building community? It was like increasing access to college and career programming.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah,
that's what I wanted
increasing
to.
access to college and career program.
You guys wanna stick that on the
Yeah.
wall, start writing this down. Did you guys have an overall objective? Like a topic sentence about what these actions fall under?
That's what we're thinking of, but we're thinking like that would be like increasing access to, we would have to frame it into a objective, maybe all those three.
That's something to think about. So what could be, so like last year's, sorry, I guess I should.
Last year's, it was evaluate and study college and career pathways and literacy opportunities in San Jose. I think we could do something very similar. And it could be, evaluate and uplift college and career pathways and literacy opportunities
Yeah.
in San Jose. I mean, we can just kind of change the language just a little bit, and the things I'm putting on here are going to be around conducting the youth budget priority session, citywide youth survey, and I might tailor it a little bit closer towards exploring educational equity or increased access to educational programs. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
And then I have explore and uplift community partnerships focused on education, including but not limited to. So we named a couple organizations we can reach out to and connect with, but we aren't stuck with just those organizations, but we can explore other partnerships. And then I can also add in a piece around, you had an ESL piece, working with SJPL to do ESL amenities. Okay, I'm
It's
thinking.
like do outreach on ESL classes?
Yeah, definitely outreach, uplifting resources that already exist and building awareness. There's also another piece to it that might be very interesting about peer ESL classes, right? Okay, let me think about how to, this is really good. I have to think about how to wordsmith it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I know you said about the taking lead, like this is something that again, I don't know, like I think she asked me again, like, would you be interested in taking lead in this, like 100%. I just had dinner like last night with the CEO of like SVEF, so it's like those connections are there, and I think this is something that can truly make an impact.
I agree. I like this.
Commissioner Yu? Do you have a question?
I have a question about the ESL classes, it's more. Okay, it's more targeted towards like, Emily and Megan, I was wondering like, the ESL classes that are already provided in the libraries, are they targeted towards like adults or like youth? Cause I feel like ESL classes for like adults and youth are like very different, and so like if we're lacking in one part, I think we could like implement more like resources to be put into like that.
That's a really good point. I believe right now, majority of our ESL classes, we kind of put underneath the banner of adult literacy, so there aren't that many focused on youth. But maybe that's a big gap that the youth commission can kind of focus on as part of their evaluation of these programs, and maybe we could put that into our objective. So evaluate, uplift college and career and literacy resources, because I think ESL falls underneath the topic of literacy in general, by going a little bit more broad. And that could be part of the work that's done in the ad hoc committee. So it's a really good point. Thank you, Ruby.
You have another question? Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
No, it doesn't have to be. I just stuck it in there because it was, I can move it. Okay. Budget.
Budget summit can move. This is building the plane as we fly it. I'm beginning to just kind of draft what our work plan's gonna sound like, and then we're gonna review it together and wordsmith it together and move pieces.
Okay, let's have our second group come up, which was, I think, going to be the culture group that came up earlier, but I think Fiona's the best, but that's okay. So like I mentioned, if you guys wanna just talk about the central theme that you guys researched and maybe individual or action items that you guys came up with.
So we put this into two groups. One was the youth commission outreach over here that just had the budget summit, and then just the general outreach. We focused more on number one, which was fostering youth creativity through cultures/arts, including but not limited to music, murals, or community painting/culture, or and then, sorry about that, it's art/culture resource drive, tickets to museums, shows, supplies, and events. So what we were thinking of implementing this with was a multicultural fair and making a citywide event for a multicultural fair that would have nonprofit organizations come and do art and culture resource supplementals, and they would give out supplies for the youth who are in need of them, but they can't access them. And then this fair wouldn't just be the nonprofit organizations as well. It would actually be a fair, and we're trying to get as many people to show up and the population to be broad, so that we can have can bridge that gap. And yeah, that's what we were thinking. Do you have any questions?
Anyone have any comments or any suggestions, questions regarding this?
So one of the things I'd like to know is there is the outreach officer, communications officer, and the executive committee work together to develop an outreach plan that the youth commission aims to kind of work on. It supports the work plan in the background while we do it. Some of this we passed basically in September. It's one of the first actions the outreach officer takes. It's not that hard. We just kind of reuse the same outreach plan we do things each year. So that is included in what we do. That's not to say that can't be part of our objectives, but just keep that in mind. I think this is really good. This allows us I think we foster youth creativity through cultures, arts, including but not, this is an action item to me, not necessarily a topic item, I don't think, an objective, and I don't think there's a problem with that, because I think we can get really creative about that, which I'm excited about. And I think we can add this, including but not limited to music, murals, events, fairs, and I think that gives us some latitude to be flexible there. And then yeah, I have to think about whether or not the budget summit fits. But I think, and then we can. How does outreach fit into this piece?
Like youth commission outreach.
Like that number two, how does that fit into this? Is that part of community building? Is that part of?
I'm not exactly sure, how it fits perfectly, but since our original theme was community and belonging, we kind of went, okay, what community do we have? The commission community, and so we said we should increase our youth commission outreach. But we do also know that the outreach will happen either way, so it is a flexible point.
No problem, just hold still, Fiona, I'm gonna write that down.
Anybody else have any thoughts?
I think it's pretty solid in a way. I see that the idea of like youth commission outreach connects to this is the fact that the idea of fostering youth creativity through culture is like uplifting the youth voice in general. And I think that's what connects, I guess, youth commission outreach to the rest of this group specific action items. Yeah.
No, just like positive feedback, I think we did a really good job separating like the other immigration in this, cause I think it provides more flexibility for us to focus on like art and culture and like murals. Like the District 5 office also launched like a beautification project not too long ago. So that's also something you can like not take inspiration from, but like look at. We secured, as of now, we have 5 secured like locations for murals. And we still have like 5 pending ones. But yeah, I like it.
I think that wants to. Yeah, I think it's really good, thank you, that's really, yeah, I've included it verbatim, basically, it's really good.
Right, thank you guys. Just thank you for.
Now we'll have our last group, come talk about what they worked on. We're just gonna stand here because you wrote really small and I doubt you guys can see it even if I stood there with the poster. Sorry about that. Alright, oh, okay. So the first concern that we think of when we think of immigration is obviously access to immigration resources for undocumented or even documented immigrants. So as I think teenagers and youth, we're not really aware of the visa process, the documentation process, citizenship and stuff like that, and that's like important information that we should know about. And so the first thing that we want to do is partner with school boards to provide immigration documentation resources, know your rights resources, and pro bono legal services, which is a lot more. We'd have to like research that more in depth, but providing these resources at a younger age, especially in high school, is very important. And then these could just be in the forms of flyers, pamphlets, and posts that are put out there. And these could be laid out in school offices, school libraries, so then students can pick them up when they need it. And obviously not a lot of parents in our community especially speak English, so providing these resources in multiple languages is gonna make these immigration services more equitable. And to add on to this, we also wanna provide immigration cards, so like the eyes, the red cards that you might have seen at Dali has one, you guys can see it, but it basically details what you say when eyes basically wants to deport you or whatever. And we want to provide these cards for free in schools, which is available, but it's not everyone knows how to access it. So we want to make these available in schools, libraries, and all the places where youth are more likely to get deported or found by ICE. And that will pass it on. And our second objective action is to implement better language resources. Yeah, okay. So. Like, let's read it out.
So if I go down and change the language, I'm just gonna change the Chinese because I can read that. If I come here to like, this is citizenship and like residency resources. If I come down here, like this link says green card information. If I press on that, it takes me to a website that's English. And so if I were like, if I only spoke Chinese and I had like very limited English abilities, I would not be able to understand this. And also, the website has a Spanish version. But other than that, like if you go to multilingual resources, it's like this. And you have to find your language. And then you have to find the topic, which all needs like basic understanding of English to do. And so like if you don't really understand English, like it's really hard to find the necessary resources. So like if I don't select anything and just search Chinese, it'll show me resources in alphabetical order, which might be really hard to find because like the translation is obviously different alphabetically than it is in English. And so like, even though there are translated resources, it's still hard to like actually find them. And so we were thinking of perhaps looking into how to like give people information like that's easily accessible in the language that they speak and not require like a basic knowledge of English to be able to find these resources.
And how we would do this is we were thinking of writing a memo or like a policy proposal to the city government. So then we can like propose a change to the government website and our SJPL website and the formatting. Especially because if you guys notice, like even if you know English, I'm not sure how many of you do know like what an I-975 whatever form that is. So it's like very hard to know what they are. And so making these accessibility changes is very important, and we plan on then sending a policy or a memo as an actionable item.
And additionally, because it's probably hard to like translate this stuff on our own, I was thinking of perhaps changing the links from going to the English website to directly to like the translated pages and like the links for that instead.
Commissioner Fernandez?
I really like this, I think you just answered the question, I was just gonna say how like, for the website, I think it was like a little bit hard to change it just because it is like a federal, like government, it's like a homeland security website. I thought Google did that, like that translation thing for other languages, but I guess somebody did it in Spanish. But another thing I would add would be, for like the immigration, I think another thing that we can do is do like know your rights workshops. I think one of the biggest things I've seen was that, like, for example, Supervisor Betty Young did some, a couple weeks ago at the library. But I think the issue that I noticed with that was that not everyone can make it out, like, to the time. But maybe hosting it like at a school, like during the, like when students are there, going to like a high school, you know, and going like doing like during like lunch hour, like hosting a workshop or working with the Rapid Response Network. They do a bunch of tabling and events and stuff, so maybe working with them as well, because they do a lot of outreach in schools, and they have like the hotlines of sharing information on that, and they do like, they can like actually train people to be like rapid responders. So I feel like working with them would also be like a good way to add on to this.
Sorry, I just wanted to add something really quick. So I know I think a lot of you guys have seen like Google has their own like computer translate, but it's like really wonky and it only shows up when when Google registers that you're using another language a lot. So like for me, like because I like interact with content that's English and Chinese, sometimes they like tell me to translate it to Spanish because I also take Spanish classes and I use Spanish content. And then sometimes like Google just automatically translates like English stuff to Chinese or like Korean stuff to Chinese. So they think that that's like my main language, and they have like no idea how to like fix that or change that. So I feel like that's like also an accessibility issue for like maybe older people who don't really know how to use technology.
Commissioner Canfield?
I just wanted to say that immigration is obviously a really big part of the world that we live in. It's an issue that is very important to focus on, but it could fall violence and safety, because one of the largest issues looking at the survey from last year
for youth was violence and safety. So a lot of these objectives have like two different actions in them. Maybe we could have violence and safety be the objective and one of the actions be surrounding immigration and another one surrounding what Commissioner Park was talking about, like violence and safety in schools, since that is a big issue that the like.
So not to like say that your idea is bad, but my like thoughts behind it is that like violence at schools, like I'm not too sure how we would approach that because often violence is like, I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it, but like we can't like just tell like bring more security into schools and we can't really like I don't know how effective workshops telling people to not start fights would be. So like, I'm not too sure how we like approach that problem and if it's like plausible within like the 6 month period.
And also to add on, while it might be a good idea, I do think that immigration, especially the kind of immigration issues that we're talking about, I think it's kind of different from violence. Because we're trying to like tackle the idea of inequity, and I think that doesn't really stem from violence, that just stems from, you know, not having enough resources and inaccessibility in general. So while we can have a separate objective and focus on the intersections, I feel like we do need another objective that specifically targets the needs of inequity and resources that we're talking.
Commissioner Fernandez? I actually love what you guys said. I think that's a good idea, like to narrow everything down to try and like, condense it. But I think that immigration is such a big topic, especially right now under the Trump administration. Our community is scared, you know, like these past 3 months I've spent time like going out and picking up groceries for my community when there's like, they think there's ice out and they're scared to go out, you know? So I think it's a pretty big issue that it needs its own category in a way. I feel like it's so present. Was I hearing myself echoing?
I know it's really echoey over there. I think it's because the speakers. Right?
Okay. But yeah, I think although we can, like condense it, I think it would make like more impact if we make it like its own category, so we can spend kind of a little more time on it. And I think, Commissioner Kravoski said that, like I think, like you guys usually do like under 5, or like how many do you guys usually do, like 3 or 4?
3.
Oh, okay.
4 was stretching it last year.
I wanna do 2. Let me explain why. So normally, when we pass, we do the survey. Survey is a big deal. I know we haven't really talked about it, but it's kind of a big deal. It takes up quite a few pages in that annual report. So generally, we have that survey, we spend time writing it and developing it. We have to get it kind of cross-checked to make sure everything's good, copacetic when we put it out, and that we're being very protective of personal identifying information and everyone's privacy when they take the survey. You know, it's mid-August by now. We will probably be writing that survey into September, probably will be ready by then. So normally we get the survey approved in October. I'm gonna be a minute, I'll get to you, This year we cannot approve the survey in October because we are having our joint meeting with the Library and Education Commission, and no action items are taken during that time. So, which means now the survey needs to be approved at the end of November, which means we can't start the survey until the end of November. It's the week of Thanksgiving, which means the survey has to run about a month at least for us to collect as much information as we can. So now it's running the whole month of December, which means by the time the survey is over, we pull it out, we begin to analyze it. We're in January. Now, normally it takes about a month from the survey being analyzed to us presenting it, that information, hosting it at the budget summit, where we normally have it at the end of January. Now we can't do that because it takes another month. So we're looking at our budget summit or our priority summit now happening at the end of February. So end of February, early March is the soonest we can have that priority summit, and then we have to draft a letter and get that passed. Probably, hopefully at the end of March, meaning we move pretty fast on it. If not, it'll be April. MSC has changed their schedule that we present our annual report to, and right now they have us on the agenda to present in April. I don't think we'll end up presenting in April, I sure hope not, but that means we have to have everything done, written, all ready to go a month prior and approved at the end of March. Kind of see the issue here? The timeline has expanded, but it's also shrunk, so we have to do more in less time. So we need to do less. So that's why you see what I'm writing. And as much as we wanna do all that much, I think we can synthesize a lot of the research that you guys have done. We can put them as action items, a little bit more broad. A lot of including but not limited to. And we can put them under two main sort of objectives. And we can do a lot of work underneath each of those objectives. And from that, we can have an ad hoc dedicated to fostering culture and art. We can have an ad hoc dedicated to uplifting and supporting immigrant youth and families. But it's underneath one main objective around uplifting the diversity of San Jose and lifting the diversity and supporting San Jose as a welcoming city. It does both. Does that kind of make sense? That's my suggestion. I'll be quiet now.
I like to say, I think that's a pretty good way to concise information, especially if you want to focus our education, I guess, priority on the budget summit. I think collating both those culture and immigration, I guess, groups into one umbrella term is a smart way to go about it if we want to do less with what we have. Do you get what I'm saying? Any thoughts, anyone? Commissioner Fernandez?
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that if anyone else has like feelings about like, I'm not sure like if they think the only one, cause I think if we're still condensing it, we're still doing work things technically, right? So I feel like sometimes less is more too. So maybe someone thinks like, hey, I want to do only these three, not this ones. I don't know if anyone feels one is less important. Obviously not to hurt anyone, but just like thoughts. So we can focus, cause I feel like the more you have, the little less, like you're not gonna do as much. And if we have like 3 instead of 4, then maybe we can focus on those 3 more than the 4. So I'm not sure if anyone has any feelings.
Yeah, and right now I'm taking what you've done, and I'm just kind of doing it as one action with options underneath, like uplift and support immigrant youth and families by promoting support resources, I gotta work on the language, including development into workshops. So right there, we can talk about a know your rights workshops. We can promote citizenship classes that we can find partnerships to align with. I know Emily has been in talks with Siren. I know that they have like a youth kind of task force or committee. We can partner with them. Language accessibility and support. We could work a little bit closer with the San Jose Office of Racial Equity, who I think is behind our language accessibility and support for the entire city, and explore to make sure that we are being supportive of multiple languages. Maybe we could even push for the library translates everything into Spanish, Vietnamese, and Chinese, but right now the city is only required to translate every official document to Spanish and Vietnamese, but maybe we can push to make Chinese that official 4th language, because I think that's the 4th. So maybe we could identify other pushes for like Tagalog and other, languages that are spoken by reviewing these things. We collect some of that demographic data in our survey, and then we can think of another 3rd thing that may fit very well under there.
And adding on to what Commissioner Fernandez said, I think quality over quantity is something that we should definitely keep in mind. So to reiterate kind of what she said, having fewer action items, and I guess a more successful one is better than having multiple that we don't know if we can put our 100% work into. Commissioner Campbell?
Thank you. I agree that it's best to have a little bit less action items so we can really dedicate our resources and bright ideas to those action items. I just want to keep in mind that on the survey, the highest priority was violence and safety. And since we are the youth commission, we want to reflect what the youth wants to focus on. And so violence and safety is something that we could consider focusing on. And I think that immigration kind of does fall under that. I know it's accessibility, but also there's violence against immigrants, and this can like help immigrants, protect themselves against ICE, I guess.
Commissioner Kudrowski? Okay, so if safety is also a little bit incorporated as Megan wrote down there, or Emily, is everyone good with the two categories, or does anyone have any problems with it?
Commissioner Ditzler?
This isn't a problem, it's just kind of nitpicky, but with two categories, we could also change the ad hoc groups to make it more even on both sides. Like, I think there's around 10 or 11 of us, so like 5, 6 each. And then I think that instead of just combining the two ad hocs, we did integration. We could like switch it around a bit to balance out groups.
So to keep in mind, Commissioner Fernandez, anything to say?
There's a question, so what would be the two categories?
From my
The two things.
From my understanding, the two main categories that we split these into is one being foster youth creativity and the other one being uplift and support immigrant youth.
So where would education would fall under fostering youth creativity?
Education is its own separate
Oh, okay.
subject. Yeah.
So these are the two I have so far, and they're not done. We're gonna wordsmith this together. Objective 1, evaluate and advise on college, career, and literacy opportunities and resources in San Jose. What we would do underneath, conduct youth participatory action research and the citywide youth survey to gather insight and input from youth on budget and educational priorities. Action 2, explore and uplift community partnerships focused on education, including but not limited to Silicon Valley Education Foundation and the ESEP Education Initiative. So, that's what I have for that. We might be able to add another one, we could like, the ESL classes are kind of in there. We also might be able to flex it down into the other one, so that's why I have that blank bullet point. This is number 2. Emphasize San Jose's diversity and culture through exploring community building and placemaking. Action 1, foster youth creativity through culture and art, including but not limited to beautify initiatives, community art, events, and fairs. There's conduct outreach at local events, I'm still working on one. Uplift and support immigrant youth and families by promoting support resources, including but not limited to workshops, language accessibility and support, safety resources.
Any thoughts, questions? Commissioner Yu?
So it's kind of like that information that I was talking about, but I was wondering like, cause we wanted to maybe provide like pro bono law services that they could go, like students against go to, but like are we allowed to recommend like law firms and things like that?
So San Jose does work with lawyers in the library. Happy to introduce you to a wonderful librarian named Daniel Ong, who is had a tough time keeping them around. It's just really tough. They do receive appointments. They have certain days. People know about them. They get really inundated. Additionally, we do have PATH. They work with, PATH works with more like housing homelessness services. Where lawyers in the library are more consulting. So like we have a lot of resources in the library. And I think that's one of the things that we really talked about and discovered at the Budget Summit last year. It was more that resources are here, but it's how do people know and how do we build that trust in those resources? And I think the same way, sometimes you need to have that neighbor go and tell you about this thing, that friend you trust, tell you about this thing. I think having young people really kind of start there, maybe other young people and build that way might be a good way for us to really act as that promotional force for these resources that exist.
All right, Commissioner Fernandez?
I think that, I think they all look great, I think they look great, I think I'm on board, and I think based enough people's responses, some people are also on board. But now going into like, now this like, it's a lot like of, objectives, what do you call the word, like the bullet points, sorry, it's a lot of actions.
Yeah.
Now like, for everyone, like, would it be realistic to finish all of these? Because I think it would, like, if it's realistic, then I think it's good, yeah. Because I think like, setting like realistic goals, by when, so we can actually like, fulfill like those promises in a way. Not just say we're gonna do all this and like never do it.
I think the main thing that we wrote on the work plan right now is like the main topics, but the fact that it's included but not limited to gives us like options on what we can do for each one, so it's not anything like a promise that we're gonna do. Any other questions, thoughts on the structure of the work plan so far? I personally think, it's a very good starting point. I really like it, and it seems pretty solid in terms of what we can accomplish for this year. Yeah, Megan, do you need to add anything?
I deleted the outreach piece because I feel like we don't have to spell that out. I feel like that's part of what we do, and honestly, by just saying foster youth creativity through culture and art, including but not limited to. And we say events and fairs. It could be, we're hosting an event or fair, or we go to an event or fair, who knows? So I feel like it's broad enough for us to really kind of flex that, but I'm open to what you guys want.
Commissioner Canfield?
What if the outreach piece was about outreach of the youth commission, but outreach of the events that exist at the library that we've talked about, we've like discussed that people and youth don't know about?
Please, if any of you have an idea of how one should word that, I would appreciate it.
Commissioner Fernandez, you have something to say?
I would just agree, ditto on what you said, like, I think, existing resources, just push on that, but I don't know how you would frame that. Alright.
Like it's pushing on existing resources, like the existing things that already exist.
Yeah, like, raising awareness of existing resources in SGPL or promoting, that's it. Yeah.
Oh. Local resources. Outreach. Local resources.
Does anyone have any other thoughts? Does Megan text that up?
That's what I have so far.
This is the way it reads. So foster youth creativity through culture, art, and art included in all to beautify initiatives, community art, events and fairs. Conduct outreach and promotion of local resources, including but not limited to ESL and citizenship, community-based organizations. It's a little different, like would mostly mean we can promote the resources offered by other community-based organizations. It doesn't say exactly what for, it's extremely broad, is kind of my concern, unless we have another topic we wanna put under there. And then we have uplift and support immigrant youth and families. This one feels it needs to be worked on a little bit, Fiona.
I think for the regarding promotion of local resources, we should include resources at that street.
I guess that works because we have, I mean, the SUPL has a lot of resources, so maybe it should be, we just put San Jose Public Library and then community-based organizations.
I think that's pretty good.
Dolly and then Ruby, or was it Ruby then Dolly?
Let's
I
just
know.
go. Commissioner, you're.
Also, I mean, like the other than support and the good part, when we were, like, when we and Bashar were talking about it, I think wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, we were thinking of like specifying it to like school boards, cause like, I think for a lot of monolingual parents, their best way of getting resources to their bilingual children. And I don't know if like we need that specification or in something like this.
I wanna leave it on broad. Cause sometimes it's really hard to connect with the school board or to connect with parents, just. And it's one of those things that's like, we can start the process, but we may not be able to get anywhere. Within 6 months, that's not to say as part of our annual report, when we're drafting it, we could be like, as a function of our work plan, we try to coordinate with school district A, B, and C around support resources for immigrant youth and family at their schools. Conversations have begun and are ongoing. And that can be like the sentence we do. And it directly connects to what this is without us getting very granular and specific.
Commissioner Fernandez?
Yeah, for this, no, yeah, I also agree, but I would say for the community-based organization, I think that's just like saying that's really good. Because there's a lot of community-based organizations, there's like Los Amigos, there's Siren, there's Catholic Charity, that does a lot of good work for our communities. I think it's not necessarily we have to start that work from the root up, because a lot of that has already been started. Thanks to that, and I think just like uplifting those and sharing the resources, because those are really great organizations that do a lot of great work, here in San Jose.
This is just me being like nitpicky, but I was wondering for the conduct outreach and promotion, when you guys are thinking about like what exactly do you have in mind when you're saying you're gonna conduct outreach? Just wanted to clarify that. Commissioner Kuczynski?
I was gonna say, at that exact location, I think we can use a word for specification, just saying what kind of local resources. Like if you wanna say immigration, or if you want to say language, that's just a place to put a word. What kind of word do you guys want?
Yeah, that's my consensus, yeah, cause that's how I read it too, is we just say promotion of local resources. We don't say what local resources, and that's what drives me crazy.
Keeping it broad there is all right, since we, I don't know, clarify it in the sub points. Because when we say local resources, we aren't just saying immigration, we're saying like library resources, ESL resources. By specifying it, it kind of narrows it down more than what we plan to do, unless we do want to narrow it down, that's another topic altogether.
Alright, Commissioner, you. Agree with, Commissioner Dash. On that, like, I word there would specify too much, so like, I mean, I'm just like putting this out there, like, you could say like. So, conduct outreach and promotion of existing local resources, does that sound good?
That's good. That's the word, thank you.
That's what we need.
Yeah. That, it felt lackey, and that's what it was.
So do you guys wanna read over the work plan and see how we feel? Okay, objective 1,
Sure.
All right, I'll be reading over our work plan so far. So objective 1, evaluate and advise on college, career, and literacy opportunities and resources in San Jose. So actions in that would include conducting our youth participatory action research and a citywide youth survey to gather insight and input from youth on city budget and educational priorities. And the second one would be to explore and uplift community partnerships focused on education, including but not limited to the Silicon Valley Education Foundation and East Side Education Initiative. Second objective that we kind of crafted was emphasize and uplift San Jose's diversity and culture through exploring community building and placemaking. So within those, some actions that we decided would be foster youth creativity through culture and art, including but not limited to beautifying initiatives, community art, events, and fairs. The second action would be conduct outreach and promotion of existing local resources, including but not limited to the San Jose Public Library and various community-based organizations. And finally, uplift and support immigrant youth and families by supporting youth resources, promoting support resources, including but not limited to workshops, language accessibility and support, and safety resources.
What do we think?
What do we think? Any thoughts?
We say support a lot. Do we have any other suggestions for words? Yeah.
I would just say the one at the top, never mind, I didn't see them not limited to, because I was like, if we wanted to explore more nonprofits, but I didn't see them not limited.
Where do we see the repeated support?
I feel like I say support 4 million times a year. Uplift and support immigrant youth families, promoting support resources, language accessibility and support. Support 3 times in that thing. We could just put language accessibility.
I think that's a good idea.
And I think that says the same thing. What could we do? Uplift, what could we say besides?
I was thinking maybe we could keep the uplift support under youth and families by promoting related resources, because we already like saying that they're immigrant people. Wait, that doesn't sound, but they're immigrants, so like saying related resources like says, like kind of tells people it's immigrant resources.
Your words, Smith Ruby, thank you. How does everyone feel about related resources? Does that?
I think it flows well.
Yeah.
Last comments, feelings?
Could you scroll down one more time?
Yes, ma'am. Five action items. Yes,
Maybe just a thought, maybe for the first one, because when we were brainstorming, we were also thinking working with, I think it was somewhere on there with the East Side Union High School District, as well as like the Unified District. But I'm not sure if that has to be stated, maybe working like with them, putting in like programs and workshops and stuff like that. But if that goes with the Silicon Valley Education Foundation and all that, then I think that's fine.
who does Silicon Valley Education Foundation work with? Like what
Allen Rock District
The purview.
and I really like rocket ships,
rocket ships?
yeah,
We could always
but
put
it's not high school, that's what I was saying, like that one's, it's just middle school.
an East Side Education Initiative.
That's that doesn't work with any of them, but that's like it calls for change, so it works with them, but it's not like representing them. It's not the same with like the Silicon Valley Education. It's just like an initiative, like them trying to get funding and equally, and like they go to the board meetings and they like do stuff like that, but they're not related with the.
I like the Silicon Valley Education Foundation. Part of me thinks we should just put local school district.
Yeah.
We could just put that as like our second one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's not limited to, but it's calling out directly partnerships we can build within those.
I think local school districts.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
How do we feel?
I like that. It doesn't limit it to one specific thing as well. We talk about local school districts. And question for you.
Ruby and Commissioner Wynn.
Sorry, I was thinking about the related resources, maybe relevant resources instead. Is that, I don't know, I feel like the related resources. Relevant, does that sound better?
worried about. Okay. We already have a list.
No, but 8, like.
It's an uplift and support.
No, I think support was an adjective for resource management.
No, for the actually. Wait, never mind.
Back. No, back.
Back.
I mean, like,
Yes, yes.
Associated?
sorry. Aid doesn't help with the best.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
You see everything.
Helping, aiding, assisting, assistive resources.
I like assist.
I think assist.
Does make sense.
Why did you guys not like aiding?
Aid
Aid has a connotation to it, in my opinion, like,
If it's savior,
yeah.
like, you know those fishing trip essays, like, oh, I say 8 dollars people.
Yeah.
Purpose. So that might. But.
So the other option,
Wasn't this another thing?
Not a thing.
Another thing we could add.
uplift and advocate for immigrant youth and families by promoting support resources.
I think that flows well. What do you guys think?
If we swap support for advocate. Uplift and advocate for immigrant youth and families by promoting support resources, including but not limited to workshop on accessibility and safety.
It's like a support connotation.
Advocate.
Yeah.
More about like our voices, awareness and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gonna be right.
Commissioner just want advocate, not uplift. Because we do say uplift in the first objective.
Commissioner, you? Sorry, well, sorry, wait, I think, Commissioner, Wayne, did you have something to say before?
Let her speak first.
Okay.
Okay, okay, so like I feel like advocate to me feels more like an action, like we're actually going out there and like maybe protesting for these people, but like providing resources doesn't necessarily feel like advocating. Am I crazy?
Not necessarily, I understand, no, you're not crazy, dude, I consider myself an advocate for young people. Despite not like doing young people things, I don't know how, if that makes sense, I work with young people, I promote what you all do. I talk about it to other people, as an advocate, you speak to support for someone. You may show up to support for someone, if that makes sense. I would, more feedback.
Commissioner Wayne, did you have to say something? Before?
Because mine's unrelated.
Alright.
Commissioner Nishma?
Yeah, I was agreeing with Megan here, like the word advocate kind of fits with youth commission's mission. But like what we do is uplift youth voices, right? We advocate for their like issues, what they want to see in San Jose's government, right? The word advocate just like fits there. I don't know if uplift is necessary, but yeah, I like the word advocate. I want to keep that person, I don't know.
off topic, I don't know if we covered this, but we're not considering like miscellaneous proposals, right? Like,
I feel like those things fit underneath conduct outreach and promotion. If you want to do those, and I think that can be something the ad hoc committee considers. It can also fit conduct youth participatory action research, gather youth input on city budget and educational priorities. Additionally, remember how she talked about 408 Day, that's really an art focused event, you know, including off to events and fairs. Like, I think there's ways that if we choose to explore that partnership, we can plug it into our work plan.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
That's what I was gonna say, just cause like, just in case in the future we were interested in doing that, I know it said like you can't do anything that's not on the work plan. But in the future, like, let's say we wanted to like, oh, I wanna see if I can like do like the civics class with like my yak or something, and that would still be a possibility with that. But one other thing, I forgot, just in the first one, when is it not limited to the local school districts and stuff? It's not like bad saying like Silicon Valley Education Foundation and we haven't gotten like we haven't talked to them about it, right? Like, what if they just open a newspaper and they're like, well, like, I'm not gonna work with you guys. Like, I'm pretty close to like CO, but still like, I'm not sure what you think, like, can you just put it down without asking them?
We can, like, we can identify them as a partner we wanna work with. I don't know if we've worked with them closely in the library. That's my only concern is that we don't have an established partnership that I'm aware of here in the library. That's not to say that one of you don't already have an established partnership where we may want to explore more. In the past, we have put down like the YWCA for gender-based violence. And we reach out to them because the nature of the work that they do is building those partnerships, providing resources, even if it's just like, hey, you guys are doing a thing, like, we would love to like get some flyers and we'll promote you on our Instagrams, and that could still fit. If you are concerned, we can remove it and just put local school districts and community-based organizations. We can also do that too.
No, if you guys have done it in the past, it's okay. I was just like thinking, like, you know, but if you guys like have done it in the past, then that's totally okay with me.
Cool.
Kind of going back to our conversation regarding, the things that Ms. Lillian talked about yesterday, I think a good place that we can add that in is the conduct outreach part that Megan was talking about. Because I remember Commissioner Canfield also talked about, in that section, promoting events that were going on in the community that had to do with these support resources. So maybe under, that subsection that says conduct outreach and promotion, we can add a bullet point for events in general, or some other term that's better usage than that.
Wait, where are you talking about?
The second sub point over here, conduct outreach and promotion is what.
Yeah, where did you want me to put?
Under community-based organizations, I think Commissioner Canfield talked about promoting events as well. Is that something we can add? Because it could also talk about, oh, if there was a 408 day happening, that's something that can be promoted. That makes sense.
I put
Local
local
resources.
consumer event.
Okay. I think that's.
Like, there are events that happen at the library, there are events that communities do. I think it does both, right? Where's everybody going?
A lot of them went to the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. They're like, we're bored.
Commissioner, you.
I'm so sorry. I also want to ask, since the conduct outreach and promotion of existing local resources and events, that section is like under, celebrate and elevate San Jose's, diversity culture, does that mean the resources we promote are limited to just ones related to like diversity and culture?
Yes, but think about how broad diversity and culture are.
What else? Cause like, yesterday we talked about like implementing the master class, like that's like, so, is that still related to like diversity and culture though?
Of course, I think the master class is, was something that was done in conjunction with San Jose City Office of Racial Equity. And is something that celebrates the diversity of San Jose by encouraging civic engagement and connecting with your community and understanding San Jose. fantastic, it's hitting everything. Wow. Commissioner Kapinski?
I think diversity also like includes diverse backgrounds, like meaning immigrants, locals, all those kind of things. So I think that, yeah, it encompasses it, at least from my perspective.
Does anyone have any other thoughts regarding our work plan? I think a lot of our commissioners are.
Like, we just have a quorum, right?
We want to take it back.
Yeah, can we take a recess?
Can we talk about this?
Call for a recess, all in favor?
Call for a recess, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposing, say nay.
Say, we, call the time, we recess at the time.
Recess at 4:20 P.M.
I think it's just gonna be until people come back. Thank you. I think this is.
I like it.
consider this item done. And then we're gonna move on to the election.
You can go back to my chair.
Okay. Wait.
Same color for everybody. Got it. Here, I was just do purple or orange. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, start with that, yeah. Okay.
Our recess ends at 4:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to item 5B, the election for the fiscal year 25-26 officers. So the commission will identify and vote to approve the commission chair, vice chair, communications officer, and outreach officers. So the chair will ask any self-nominations for each officer position. I will ask if the commissioners would like to nominate any of their peers for a position. Each nominee for a position will be given 1 minute to give a speech. The commissioners will be given a slip of paper, which I think Emily's passing out now, to vote for the officers. Megan and Emily will count the total amount of votes and announce the elected official for each position. And in the case of a tie, each nominee will be given 30 additional seconds to do a second speech. Then the voting process will begin again. And these steps will be repeated until each position is filled. Do we have any public comment?
No, we don't.
All right. Do we have any comments or questions from the commission? Commissioner Canfield?
Will we, will we find out who got elected to each position directly after voting for them?
Or it'll happen right after, and then we'll move on to the next position.
Commissioner Fernandez?
So you need 5 out of 9 votes? Is it like majority or whoever gets the most? Like someone gets 4, someone gets 3, someone gets 2?
It is the majority.
Oh,
So if there are 3 people that run, and let's say somebody gets 2 votes, and then like 4 votes. Or 5 votes, however that works, that's what it'll be, or 3 votes, 5 votes, and 2 votes is the majority every time.
the majority, so which
So
one
you can win by
have,
1 vote.
so right now would be 5? We get 5 votes, right?
Alright, Commissioner, you?
I don't know if you said this, but like if we're running for position, do we also vote in that?
Yes, you do. If I'm not wrong. Alright, any other comments, questions from the commission?
So you do have to nominate. You can self-nominate or somebody else can nominate you. So just know that.
Great.
Chair. Nominations for chair.
I nominate Commissioner Kujarski for chair.
Any other nominations? Commissioner, you?
I nominate Commissioner Pradeep Kumar for chair.
Try Marion, I'm sorry, but what is it? Is it correct?
It's correct.
Yes. Wait, who did you nominate, sir?
Commissioner Fernandez?
Wait, can we know what the other positions are? I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We start with chair, and then we go to vice chair, and then we go to communications officer, and then outreach officer.
Any other nominations for the role of chair? All right, nominations are closed.
So Marion, if you'd like to stand up in front and give your 1-minute speech, I will tell you.
Hi, my name. No, sorry, it's great, would be great. Hi. Priscilla.
Hi, my name is Marian Kudrasky, and I'm continuing to serve as your citywide commissioner this year. Born and raised in San Jose, I have long been involved in this community and it's really become the center of my life. From serving on the D2 and D6 staffs to representing the commission at Parks and Recs and mayor events each weekend, I've experienced both on the professional side and in the community. I have plans for a well-run commission. The commission needs structure, it needs direction,
As chair, I plan to keep everyone on track and organized by implementing new things like a monthly chair commissioner one-on-one to make sure your voices and your priorities are heard. My role as citywide puts me in a unique position as a support role who has a hand in everything. This means we can get more done as you'll have 20+ youth from the citywide YAC working towards the primary goal of supporting your individual districts. Citywide is meant to support you all. If you want a chair who's both experienced and dedicated, I'm the person to vote for. I'm accustomed to commission work, and I embody the qualities. I know how to have direct meetings and to tell people what they need to know. As a leader, I'm also a network warrior. I'm the face of the commission. I'll be everywhere all the time at events, expanding our commission contacts and our reach for collaborations. For the good of the commission, I hope you'll give me a chance to be your dedicated chair for this year.
Hang on, your turn.
You're gone. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. As this is my last year on the youth commission, I think of this as one chance we have to make it our strongest yet. With 3 years of experience on the youth commission, I know how we can hit the ground and get started running now. Over my past terms, I've seen 2 very different commissions, one that was spearheaded with success and it had respective flaws as well for both commissions. And those experiences taught me what drives us forward and how to eventually avoid pitfalls. I understand how a commission works, and as a whole, I'm ready to guide our commission this year to success. To me, being chair isn't just about leading, but it's also about having your back. I want to make sure I can hype up all of your pet projects, make sure your ideas get the spotlight they deserve, and create a commission where we all feel seen and supported. If elected as your chair, I promise to be your go-to cheerleader, collaborator, and backup plan. Because this isn't one person's commission, it's all of ours, and we're much stronger when we rise together. Looking back, I remember being a completely lost sophomore when I first joined the commission. I didn't even know what a YAC was at that time. From that starting point to creating and leading a functional YAC that continues to grow, that writes policies confidently and knows its priorities, it helps me understand what it's like to learn, grow, and contribute as a commissioner. And it's exactly why I want to make sure that each and every one of you feel very supported this year. Last year, as an outreach officer, I got hands-on experience with executive responsibilities. I've learned how to set goals, prioritize, and build momentum. And now I'm ready to use those lessons. I call this my project now because the time for us to be most effective is now. And together, we can turn our ideas into action and make this the strongest commission it's ever been. So I sincerely hope that you guys would consider me for the role of your chair. Thank you.
You all have a sticky note in front of you, use the purple ones only. Please write a name or a CW or D2, whatever works best for you. Emily will come around and collect those, and then we will tally them.
You want to go back there for this one? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, don't they go like runner up. They go run up fourth, run up third, and then like first. Yeah, then, yeah.
No, they go first runner up with the 2nd place.
Oh, wouldn't that just reveal? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
No, they don't.
That's what I swear it's like. I swear that that's what it is like. That's what they do, I swear, the first runner up is.
We have a winner. Congratulations, Mary, you are going to be the chair of the youth commission for 25 years. Wow, that's not what I wanna do. Okay. We're going to now move on to the vice chair election. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Commissioner Pete Kumar. Any other
Any
nominations?
others?
I nominate, yes. I nominate Commissioner Fernandez.
Do you accept the nomination?
Yeah,
Did I spell it right?
No.
I'm so sorry.
There's an E for all the R's, that's it. The where, with two R's, like that. ERO. ERO. It's okay. No, PUERRERO, a lot of R's.
Thank you. Thank you, Emily. Yes. Anybody else?
All right, because Zahan just spoke, Donna, I'm gonna have you go first.
Okay, well, I did not prepare for this, but, I believe I should be vice chair because I have a lot of experience. I'm very passionate in my community. I have a lot of identities that I believe could represent the youth commission well. I'm not only a woman, but I'm an immigrant, I'm a person of color. I have a lot of identities that could help, promote and represent a lot of students in the district, especially in San Jose where it's such a diverse district, which is something we have talked about a lot. I think it's so perfect to have someone, the face be someone from a marginalized community, you know, to show that representation. And I think that's so important. I have worked with the San Jose City Council for the past 4 years. Since I was 15 and now I'm 19. I have served 2 council people. I have written policies. I have written memos. I have sat alongside Congress people, Congressman Alex Padilla, Congressman Matt Frostwell, and I have gotten their advice to help youth in my district. And I think it is so important to prioritize needs of those from marginalized communities because that's the only way we'll be equal. And that's something I've worked in my whole life, and I was at UCLA when I'm back. I have currently worked on a civil lawsuit to help undocumented workers on Metro by T-Mobile because of the abuse for workers. And I'm really passionate about helping my community, and that's truly why I'm here to represent my community, my people, and I hope you guys will bring, because I think representation truly does matter, that inspires people to take change and to have a seat on the table. And that's it. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
Neha?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. If elected as the vice chair of the youth commission, one of the greatest things that I would vow to do is to be a team with Marion. And I think that's something that will definitely benefit the commission because we'll have a strong central unit to help guide the rest of the commission. And I think Marion and I work really well as a team together. And that's something that would definitely help us reach our outcomes that we developed in our work plan today. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm really big on support. So if you guys are hosting any events, YAC events, or things specific to our work plan, I will be there and I will show up, no matter where I am. And I will definitely try my best to even make it to YAC meetings if possible, so I can show my greatest support to each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys will consider me as your vice chair.
All right, everybody has a purple sticky, please write Dolly or Neha, you can do D2 or D5 as well. It worked really hard to spell Dolly's name correctly out there.
It's perfect.
I'm sorry.
I mean, there is an accent on that. Thing.
I know there's an accent on the A, and like, is it this way or that way?
I don't know what this is. I mean, it's like,
Well, because San Jose goes that way.
does it really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know the difference. Yeah, how does that, how do you? It's just Fernandez. Oh, Quevedo? It's a lot of R's, it's really hard to pronounce. Is it like hard? It's pretty good last, yeah, it's okay. But you can honestly, I don't know, I go by your number.
My dad's, it's just the same one, but it's like it's like, together. It's not gonna have real money, it's like, since, and that means they're on this, or I was like. Very unique, when they go, they're like, oh, oh. You mean?
They're chattering.
We have a winner, congratulations, Megan, you're the vice chair of the youth commission. Who would like to run for communications officer? Please nominate or self-nominate.
I nominate Commissioner Deshmukh for communications.
Accept.
Yes, I accept.
Wait, what does communications do?
Social. Oh.
Social media, designing, helping with flyers, you may help like write talking points or help with slides, help with design. That's kind of what they do. They help communicate youth commission message outward.
I nominate Commissioner Park for communications officer.
Do you accept?
No.
Anushka, how bad did I butcher your name?
And it was good, correct.
Really?
You doing well today.
Oh, I think because I have Emily's support, so she's like going in there and fixing it. Do you have anybody else? You can self-nominate too. Don't feel like you need somebody else if this is something you want. Going once. Going twice. Congratulations, Anushka.
You are the communications officer for the youth commission 2025 to 2026. And our last one, outreach officer. Anybody like to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Yu for outreach.
Do you accept? You don't have to.
Yes,
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Quinn.
Do you accept?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Calhoun. I'm so sorry. I accept. I'm sorry.
I would like to nominate myself. Probably. With the F, but.
I think it's this, no. No.
It's like just. It's okay.
And I don't know. Emily, please help me. Thank you. I'm doing my best. Do you know how cold my hands are right now?
No, mine too. It is freezing.
All right, we're gonna start in the middle.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'd like to nominate myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just tell you, when we first created this position, we made our vice chair also do it, so I'm so happy to see so many of you in this position. I think it's the coolest one, in my opinion. We're gonna start with Kyle.
I'm sorry, does anybody else wanna run? Oh, I was like, I mean, you could double up and. Okay.
Alright. I'm gonna keep it brief because as you can see, I'm not feeling the best right now. But the outreach director position, I think it requires a lot of connecting to a lot of people. And I think I can connect to a lot of people on a deeper level than just surface level. And I love talking, so as you can see, I'm talking and I like to talk to different people and connect with them, and I think I can be an asset to the executive board in getting other youth commissions involved in what we do. And also, you need a little bit of charming, and I think I can provide that as well when I'm connecting to other commissions. So That's my take on it, and Kyle Park, remember the name?
Rudy? Go in order.
Hi guys, I'm Ruby, I'm the D9 Commissioner and I'm running to be your outreach officer. The outreach role is all about support, being a support system, showing up for commissioners, uplifting their work and making sure our youth commission's mission reaches the community. I believe I can bring that energy and consistency necessary to be an outreach officer. Before joining the youth commission, I served on D2ZIAC as the vice chair for 1 year and then the chair for another. These positions have taught me how to effectively communicate with others and how to lead a group of people. Through those experiences, I also discovered how much I enjoy connecting with people on a personal level. I'm sure you've noticed I'm very talkative and I love talking to people, and I really like holding conversations and learning more about others. And I think this is a trait that will be very valuable to an outreach officer. I'll be committed to promoting our activities. I'll be there to support you, attending your events, giving feedback on your proposals, and helping make sure our policies are strong and impactful. I'd love to support you as your outreach officer. Thank you.
Now. Where? Yeah, I would stand elsewhere and not look at someone. All right.
Hi again. I think this position is really cool because I think it's a very essential part of the youth commission. I have a lot of experience doing outreach for many different events, for many different people. At the moment, I probably do outreach for the District 5 office twice a week, whether it's Viva Calle, whether it's Viva Park, whether it's a Cinco de Mayo event. And I'm really good at talking to people, connecting with people. I think it's a really cool position because you get to go out in your community, you get to talk to people. I think it's also a very essential part of the youth commission. Yeah, I'd be very excited to be the outreach officer position. And yeah, that's it.
Hi, everyone. As you may know, I am very involved in a lot of youth spaces on the county level and even outside the county. I have connections with the Dublin Youth Commission, Milpitas. I'm also involved in many nonprofit youth-led organizations. And what I'm trying to say here, I would love to leverage these connections to increase the breadth and depth of our events this year. For example, the budget summit, I would love to leverage these connections to increase the outreach. Also, as a creative writer, I am not afraid to make those lengthy emails to schools, to youth commissions. I would love to put my best foot forward and do things that are deemed difficult. I've done a lot of outreaching in the past for community events. I'm very aware of what my community looks like. I know how to effectively convey the mission, and I'm not afraid to speak up. Speak in front of a large crowd. So what I'm saying is that as an outreach officer, I would love to really contribute all the things that I've collected in my unique experiences and my ability to really convey our mission, to put our best foot forward here as commissioners here. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. Everybody clap. We're all clapping. Clap for everybody.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I'm Kevin Canfield, and I'm really excited to start working with all of you to make all of our ideas come to life. So I'm a sophomore at Notre Dame, as you all know, and I've been really involved in leadership roles so far. So I'm part of my school's law club, I'm treasurer, and we hold discussions about important legal topics with the audience of over 20 members. I'm part of the leadership group League of Young Women Voters, which last year organized a presidential mock election, which had most of the school's participation. And I've also, I co-head my school's theater, business, and marketing team. So I've had a lot of experience just being someone that people can count on and organizing things and doing a lot of outreach for all these different organizations that I work for. I want to be an outreach officer because I want to be the person that makes sure people hear about the amazing things that we're going to be doing. I can start getting press coverage from news sources to promote our events and to support your projects.
I want to help us connect with each other and to connect with our community. I'd be proud to take that on as an outreach officer. Thank you.
It is now time, everybody grab a purple sticky. Write down a name and or a number. And we will come and collect it.
Okay, you're almost there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's, Ashada, Nishka, but it's not gonna be the current, right, because you just buy it. Nishka? You don't need five, you just need more than that, I'm trying to figure out like what's the problem, it's gonna be a time. Probably not, there. How many, because there's only, there's only 4 people working. There's only, wait, no, but all of yourself. Yeah. I don't think you like. Like, why would you 4 ways? Is that possible? Yeah.
We have a tie between two, so you'll have 30 seconds. So it is between David and Ruby. You guys have 30 seconds to pitch again, and then we will vote between David and Ruby. Make sense? Who needs purple sticky notes? No, you're all good? Okay. So,
Sorry, wasn't paying attention.
okay, who went first last time? David just spoke.
Yeah.
All right, each of you pick a number between 1 and 30.
17.
Oh my God, you guys didn't equal this anybody. 19. So I guess 17 is closer. You go first, Ruby.
Oh. Looks like stop tying.
All right, you get 30 seconds.
Oh, well. All right, and go.
Hi guys, it's me again. So to me, I feel like outreach isn't just going out and talking to other people, trying to convince them to come, but also supporting each and every one of your events. So if I were to become outreach, I will most definitely show up to all your events, also because I have nothing better to do. But I'm also happy to support you in planning, things like that, and I know like outreach also has a role in looking over project proposals and policy proposals, things like that. And I'd be happy to look over that as well and make sure that we get the advice that you need. Yeah, please vote me, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, clap. And you get 30 seconds.
Yes, okay, so I'll make this quick. So one thing that I do wanna make more prevalent this year is to increase the amount of Youth Herald posts that we have on our website, which are the articles. I'd love to collaborate with our new communications officer to draft articles that detail our events. And I'd love to reach out to schools or to make a newsletter to really increase our outreach and publicity for events because they're really important for you to know about. So if you consider me, I'd love to do that as an initiative, and I'd love to be there for events and to really be the best support system for y'all.
All right, on a purple sticky, please write Ruby D9 or David D7. We'll come around and pick them up.
You need the mic. Yeah. I'm down. I think my that's something. That's a bird.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna see.
After our so many things, right? You know, I deserve it. No, I'm. Oh, alright. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
That's.
Was very close. We have a winner. David, congratulations. All right, anyhow, if you can please do us the honors.
Do we have a motion to approve the election results?
I motion to approve the election results.
Do we have any seconds?
I second to approve the election results.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
You just say it.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Any seconds?
I second my motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the meeting is adjourned at 5:01 PM.